Hey folks, this is Lawn Tractor Life. How you doing today? I haven't posted a video in a while. I wanted to give you folks an update, let you all know what I've been up to, and I got some things coming up. I got some stuff here I want to show y'all and give you an update on myself and my current situation, and just wanted to catch up with everybody and let y'all know I'm still around. I haven't went anywhere. It's just been a pretty busy time for me, springtime. Some of you may or may not know, you see that there big red dump truck right there? Well, I bought a dump truck. Me and my friend went in together and bought this dump truck, and we've been working it pretty hard lately. But today was a rainy day here where I'm at, and so rain is good for the yard, but not good for the dump truck business. So kind of had a day off and had a little shipment today, which I'll share with y'all and let y'all know what's going on there. But first of all, so if you've seen my videos with the Cub Cadet that I bought with the bent axle, there she sits. Got the axle fixed. Basically just took it and pulled the wheel off of it, and took a oxyamphetamine torch and heated the axle up and tweaked it back up straight, and then quenched it, so it wouldn't be weak, and then put the wheel back on it. And man, we've been cutting grass with this thing, and it's a cherry little lawnmower, and I got a great deal on it. Now, I added the front bumper, and then I also added the armrest kit on the seat there. I had already had those pieces before I got the mower from a previous mower that I bought and then sold before I used the bumper and the armrest kit. This thing runs good. It's been a good mower. Now, it does have the infamous IntelliPower, which we've discovered in the last couple of years is not good. Even Cub Cadet got away from it. But anyway, so far it's doing good. Now, I found out I can convert it to a normal carburetor with a throttle cable and a throttle control. I've already checked into it. All the pieces do fit. But I'm not going to mess with it as long as it's running good. Why fix what ain't broke? It's what I'm trying to say. As long as it's running good and doing good, I'm going to keep running it. It's got about 5 hours on it now. I need to change my oil and do my break-in oil change. But just been super busy around here, and already cut grass a couple of times. Me and both my neighbors, the restaurant up the street, the machine shop across the street, even a little gas station around the corner. I've been cutting the hell out of some grass with this little rig, and I mean it's the best $600 I ever spent. And also I did some planting and sowing grass and fertilizing in my yard. This is the backyard. I sowed grass and fertilized in there about 3 weeks ago, but the front yard I built up. My house is on a hill, and so you get a lot of runaway soil, and so I had replaced a lot of soil in the front with some really nice topsoil, and then I put clover and fescue 50-50 in the front yard because I have dogs and they like to go out front, and the clover is really good with the dogs. The dogs don't wear it out with their urine and feces and that, and so I had that project going on. And then if you look right there in the back of my pickup truck, you see some big giant boards that almost look like railroad ties. Those are 6x6 by 8 foot treated timbers. I have a section of my driveway which had railroad ties in it, and the railroad ties are 30 some odd years old. This house and stuff was built in 1993. Hard to find railroad ties right now, especially decent ones. A couple of places locally have had railroad ties, but they ain't been no better looking than what's already out in the yard. Those railroad ties are rotten, and then I found a bunch of termites in one of them last year and pulled it out. So I'm going to be replacing the railroad ties with these 6x6, and some of you may know that railroad ties are 7 by 9 by 8 foot. So these 6x6s are slightly smaller, but they're going to work and actually make it easier to put them back in where the ties came out. So I have that project going on. I actually coated the ties with black driveway sealer to help preserve them a little bit. I've been busy with that and working with the dump truck, going out and canvassing and looking for work for the dump truck. Has been taking a good bit of my time lately in the last couple of months. I got the dump truck Valentine's Day, February 14th, and so I've spent a good bit of time searching for work for the truck and getting it legal and DOT regulated and all that stuff. And then as soon as I found work, I had to get out and do it. You know, you got to hustle when you buy a truck. But anyway, just to show you what's new, I got, some of you know I have the mini bike and that, and I made a couple of videos with the mini bike, working on it and stuff like that. So this is the previous front tire off the mini bike. I don't have the back one off yet, just the front one so far. So these knobby tires are the original tires on the mini bike, which turns out to be a 2018 bike. Just real quick, it's a Coleman B200 mini bike. Yeah, that's the front rim that you see sitting up on top of it there. So these came in the mail today, which are the street tires for the bike. I decided to put the bike on street tires because I don't really ride it in any extreme off-road situations. With this mini bike, I just mostly, bark around the neighborhood and terrorize the dogs. And so most of my riding is on hardpack. I do plan on riding some trails, but they're going to be more or less gravel roads and, light-duty dirt roads and things like that. I'm not going to be doing any extreme off-roading with this mini bike. That's not what I bought it for. So I decided that it would probably be better for me and for the bike to switch it over to a street tread pattern because the tires will last longer, for one thing, with most of my riding being on the asphalt. And also the bike will be way less vibrating. After I ride this thing for a little while, my hands get sort of, I'm an old man, so my hands get sort of tired pretty quick on me. And so I decided to switch off of the knobby tires to help absorb, make a smoother ride for the bike. These are the Sun F brand, and I know that's backwards for you. Maybe it won't be when the video comes out. They're a 19 by 7 by 8. Some of the mini bike guys like to change their tire sizes when they switch out for bigger or smaller or what have you. I decided to stick with the original size, and this is the original size tire. And although they're a street tread, they do have an open tread. For what I do, this tire is perfect. It's actually a better grade tire than the original tire. The original tire is a 4-ply tire with a 1-ply sidewall. And it's been a good tire, but like I said, I get a lot of vibration with this tire. I don't need it for what I'm riding with. This is actually a 6-ply tread and then a 2-ply sidewall, which is a lot beefier tire than what was on the bike in the first place. And additionally, these tires are from 2018. So they're 7 years old. So I want to put some new rubber on the bike. And so I decided to purchase the Sun F's. I got these off of Amazon. They're very popular among the mini bike people. And They were just a little over $100 for the pair. I bought the pair. And so I'm going to be putting these on the bike pretty soon. Probably today, because honestly there ain't nothing else to do today, and now's a good time to do it. I'm going to make a separate video for that though. But also, while I had the bike apart, I did some checking around, and I had some bad bearings. This is the wheel bearing out of the front wheel. This one's actually okay, but I just threw one in the scrap barrel that was bad. So these bearings here, they don't cost much money. I went ahead and bought 4 of them so I can change all the bearings on both wheels. And they weren't very expensive. It was less than $20 for the pair. So the 4 of them costed me about $35 some odd dollars. And then one thing I discovered when I took the bike apart was that the headstock. This is your handlebars and fork. The tube that's on the frame that goes between here, okay? It's called a headstock. These bearings were froze up completely solid. Not these, but the ones that came out of it. They were completely frozen. 7 years of condensation, riding in the wet. You know, I don't know who all had this mini bike before me, but the bearings were froze solid, which meant that I was actually turning left and right on the bolt. It did feel a little bit stiff in the steering when I got it, you know, but I didn't pay it much attention. But have a look at that if you can see it. You see how those threads are stripped out in that bolt down here at the bottom right here? That is due to the bolt turning inside the bearing. Instead of turning like this, the whole thing would turn. And it was wearing into the bolt. This was just something I discovered when I started taking the front end apart. I said, well, I better check these bearings, you know, and sure enough, they were rusted and just froze completely up. So I went to my local hardware store and sourced the new bearings from there. And they were only a couple of dollars a piece. Went ahead and bought an extra pair because this looks like something that I'm going to have to do at least every other year, is probably change the bearings or something like that. When I replace these wheel bearings, I'm going to add grease fittings right here and right here because the bearings that I bought are the non-sealed type bearing. This is a sealed bearing, okay? It has the rubber seal and it holds all the grease inside. The grease stays in place. This bearing here is a non-sealed bearing. This bearing has no seal quality to it, and as a result it needs grease from time to time. So there's 2 ways you can handle it. One, you can take the bearing apart, you know, take the bearing out of the wheel occasionally and add grease. Or 2, you can put a fitting in here in this axle. Probably don't need but 1 fitting. You put a grease fitting right here, but I'm going to go ahead and put 1 on each side. And then when you put the grease fitting in here, you're going to basically fill this whole tube up with grease. When you grease it, it's going to fill the whole thing up with grease. Bearing's going to go right here, and this whole tube's going to wind up full of grease. That's the only way to keep grease on the bearings. So that's what I plan on doing with that. I will be making videos for all this. 1, 2, 3, 4 videos, whatever it takes. But basically, I wanted to spend some time today and just update you folks, in case anybody is watching. I mean, let's be honest, probably not. But in case you are watching and you do give a shit, this is the update. Just been busy with the dump truck and had a lot going on with yard projects. It's that time of year, man, and I'm a doer. I'm not the kind of person to just sit around on YouTube all the time, like some folks I know. I've just been busy doing stuff, but I'm gonna end this video now. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on putting these tires on, and I'll post a separate video for that, which will probably be posted this evening or tomorrow morning. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all hanging in there, and have a nice day.